Greetings, dear friends. Usually we meet at my house, but today I'm excited to welcome you to our local market. It's a lively spot where people from neighboring villages come to find fresh fruits, vegetables, and poultry. Speaking of poultry, that's exactly why we're here today, to find a delicious fatty goose to feature in this episode. I have a feeling that after watching this episode, you'll be inspired to visit your own local market. Go ahead and grab some freshly harvested veggies, and when you're done, you can thank us by subscribing to the channel and giving this video a like. You know, my friend, and I think you'll agree with me on this, that local markets are more than just a place to buy fresh ingredients. They're a hub of connection. One visit to the market gives you more than just the fruits and veggies picked fresh from the field. It offers you a slice of community life. At one stall, you might bump into your old friend from school. At another, your neighbor, and before you know it, you're caught up on everything that's happened since the last time you spoke. Stall after stall, exchange after exchange, the market becomes a journey of shared moments. And as we make our way back home, the first to welcome us are our little bundles of fur. It's impossible to resist stopping for a quick scratch behind the ears. And you know what? When the snow falls, they become so playful, bounding through the drifts like children on winter holidays. The first flurry send them racing outdoors, tumbling and burrowing themselves in the snow with pure joy. One cannot but join them. In keeping with our traditions of artisanal and rustic cooking, my wife and I have decided to introduce something truly special today, a real relic from the Afghan nomadic tribes. These tribes brought a culinary gem to Central Asia and the Middle East, one that has stood the test of time, the Afghan cauldron. Alright, let me tell you a bit about it while feeding these fellas. So, if you Google Afghan cauldron, you will see a quite sturdy, round-bottomed pot. There are some images on the internet where the cauldron is hanged over an open fire, and this is a proper way of using it as it serves perfectly for slow-cooking stews, pilafs, and meat dishes, giving you the rich, tender results we all love. As we get ready to slow cook this beautiful goose in the cauldron, it's important to have the right tools to bring out the best in our ingredients. That's where our knives come in. Crafted for durability and sharpness, whether you are prepping the meat, vegetables, or anything in between, these knives are your perfect companion. Scan the QR code and treat yourself with a different cooking experience. This passion for authentic quality cooking has shaped our approach to every aspect of our work, including these incredible knives. We're constantly on the lookout for unique artisanal pieces to create something truly extraordinary. And that search has led us to gems like this Afghan cauldron. But it's not just about the tools, it's about sharing these discoveries with you. For example, here's a fun tidbit. In many Afghan households, the cauldron is treated like a family heirloom, passed down from generation to generation. Some even believe that the older the cauldron, the better it cooks. Now that's a tradition you can taste.
Big, more big, big. Say big, ma. Yeah.
So, what makes goose meat so special? Well, it's a bit of a treat. It's richer and juicier than your average chicken. Kind of like the goose is saying, I don't do basic. The flavor's deeper, more complex, and when you cook it slowly, all that fat renders down, making every bite insanely tender. I know, fat sounds like a bad word, but trust me, when it melts, you'll immediately stop perceiving it that way.
Şey bir bol bilgisi.
Buyur. Bobby, Santi. Bobby, Santi. Check water.
A generous touch of salt, pepper, and turmeric. Let's make sure to season it well, as the right amount of herbs and spices will really elevate the dish. By the way, if you are loving what you're seeing, don't forget to follow us on Instagram. We're always sharing new recipes and a few extra tips and tricks to make your cooking just a little bit more exciting. And I think this is a great way to fill your feed with really decent content. These days, the flow of information is relentless and chaotic. You scroll through your Instagram feed and honestly, half the time, you don't even know what you're looking at anymore. It's a mix of ads, influencers, and random updates that make you stop and wonder, what am I really getting out of all this? It's easy to get lost in the noise. I really hope that our little slice of peaceful village life brings some calm and serenity to your day. That's truly our main aim here, to offer a break from the hustle and bustle, where everything moves at a slower pace. Now, as we continue with our cooking, my wife has already started prepping the vegetables. She's cutting them into big, hearty chunks, and this is key because we want to make sure that each piece holds onto its full flavor. If you cut the veggies too small, they might lose their integrity during cooking, but leaving them in larger chunks means every bite is packed with that pure, fresh taste. So the size of the cuts really matters. Here, we have sweet bell peppers, sun-kissed tomatoes, some carrots and potatoes. They're becoming a flavorful base, a cozy bed if you will, for our goose. We will layer them gently in the cauldron, letting them soak up all the flavors that will come from the goose as it slow cooks. It's like setting the stage for the main act. The goose will rest on top, infusing everything below with its savory juices, and by the end, we'll have a meal that's nothing short of magic. And just a little reminder before we continue, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It's such a small gesture from you, but it really makes a huge difference for us. Every like and subscribe helps us keep bringing you more recipes. Now, let's season the veggies with a nice pinch of salt, some freshly cracked pepper, and a few other spices to bring out their natural flavors. We'll add a generous drizzle of olive oil, and once everything is mixed together, my wife will begin layering the bottom of the cauldron. Let's go ahead and fasten the lid of our Afghan cauldron. Now, let me share a bit about how this pot works. The round bottom design is perfect for slow cooking, as it evenly distributes heat all around the dish. The lid, when sealed tightly, traps all the steam and moisture inside, ensuring that everything cooks in its own juices. Over time, the heat rises from the bottom and circulates around the ingredients, creating a gentle simmer that does all the magic for us. It's like a slow dance of flavors inside that pot. While our dish is cooking, I thought we'd take a moment for a quick tea break. I've gathered some wild rose hips from the garden. These little berries are perfect for brewing a fragrant, soothing tea. I'll combine them with slices of tangerine and a handful of pomegranate seeds. This mix will give our tea a wonderfully zesty kick. It's just the kind of thing you need when you've got time to relax and let the food do its thing in the cauldron. Let's have a break and enjoy something warm and comforting before the main event.
하고 뭐 라가까지 지우고
When you pour that hot tea into the cups, you can immediately see the steam rise and fog up the glass walls. It's such a beautiful sight, the way the steam wraps around the edges of the cup, almost like a little cloud. There's something so satisfying about that visual, a promise of the warmth and relaxation that's to come.
İmza kalktı. Hazır iloji. Hatırıza gitse.
As we set the table, we also have some bright pickled peppers stuffed with cabbage. You might have seen the making of them already in the previous episodes. They make a great snack to pair with the wholesome meal, adding a nice tangy contrast to all the rich flavors we've been building up. And now, after all that slow cooking, the dish is finally ready. We're lifting the lid off the cauldron, and the aroma that hits us is nothing short of incredible. The goose, tender and golden, is resting perfectly atop a bed of caramelized veggies, soaking in all the juices. Take a look at this beautiful dish. Everything about it is inviting. The goose is golden brown, its skin perfectly crisped, glistening with that rich layer of fat that's rendered down into the most delicious juices. The smell is simply intoxicating. You can smell the earthiness of the potatoes and carrots, the sweetness of the peppers, and the deep, rich aroma of the goose. And when you plate it, the way the juices pool around the goose, creating a glossy sheen, it's a feast for the eyes as much as it is for the stomach. Let's adorn it with some fresh greens, parsley, cilantro, maybe a bit of dill. The vibrant green herbs will create a beautiful contrast against the golden brown goose and the rich earthy veggies.
Sanki yemek hanı ha.
But before I dive in, I have a little tradition I always follow, sharing with my dogs first. They've been patiently waiting, their eyes locked on that goose, and they're as excited as we are. So, as I set their bowls down and watch them dig in, it's a reminder of how food brings us all together, whether it's at the table or sharing a meal with our furry friends. Now, it's finally time to sit down and dive into this feast. We gather around the table, and honestly, it's like the food starring in its own show. As soon as that first bite hits your mouth, it's like fireworks. The goose is so tender it practically melts. The veggies have absorbed all the goodness, and that tangy kick from the pickled peppers, it's like the unexpected punchline of a good joke. You weren't quite ready for it, but it just works. There's this harmony, this balance where everything comes together, and you realize this is the kind of meal that makes everything feel right in the world.
텔레비전 봐야 하네.
Well done, my friends. We can't wait to share another meal, another story with you next time. Until then, take care.